So our own David Shuster at Current Television is reporting that, of course, the ugliness has begun at the Republican convention. Let it commence. He says, quote, GOP attendee ejected for throwing nuts at African-American CNN camerawoman, plus saying, quote, this is how we feed the animals. Now, David was the first to report that, but it has been confirmed that that delegate has been removed from the convention. You know, they have a couple of African Americans that speak throughout the event. They've actually found 3 or 4 that are still with the Republican Party. They brought out Mia Love, who's a mayor of a town in Utah, and she speaks against Obama, etc. As if African Americans support Republicans, when in reality we saw a poll just last week. President Obama is beating Mitt Romney 94-0. I have never seen 0% in any poll. And then, gee, I wonder why African Americans are not buying what the Republican Party is selling. It's not just because he's running against an African American president. It's because this is oftentimes what Republicans do. Now, it's not on Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney didn't do it. It's not on Republican politicians. But this is the base that they have to appeal to. That's why they do the campaigns. Their number one testing ad right now is their welfare ad. Remember, that's the one that's based on a lie, where they say President Obama took away the work requirement in welfare. Not true. 4 Pinocchios, Washington Post, pants on fire. Every fact checker says not remotely true. But they say it anyway. It works well. Why? Because it gets this base going, yeah, as Rick Santorum said, those black people taking your welfare money. But I don't want them to take that money. I want them to get a real job. I mean, that nails it. That's exactly what the GOP base loves. So is it surprising that one of them goes up to a black camerawoman and says, yeah, oh, here, this is how we feed the animals. I mean, can you imagine anything more grotesque? And that's not the only ugly incident at the convention. Now, there's some controversy over why this happened, but Zori Fonolleras was a Republican committee woman from Puerto Rico. She was speaking, and apparently she had an accent as well as she was speaking. And there are some reports that the crowd started chanting, USA, USA. That's such a fail in so many different ways. All right. She's not from a different country. Okay, now Puerto Rico has a unique status. It's not a state, but it is part of the U.S. They vote in the primaries, right? And it's a question as to whether they're going to join us as a state, etc. But to think that she's from a different country, be like, oh yeah, USA, USA, yeah. She's one of you. She's a Republican committee woman. Are you going to make her regret that? And the answer is, yeah, of course. Now, look, some are saying, hey, you know what? Maybe it wasn't that because Ron Paul supporters were, very active at the time, not related to her, and that maybe it was shouting back and forth. I don't know how shouting turns into USA, USA. Okay, so look, that one is less clear than what happened to the camera woman. But if they really did chant that, it's yet another sign of, if you're not super white, you are not welcome here, okay? And then they wonder, gee, why are we losing 2-1 among Latinos? Why are we losing 94-0 among African Americans? Well, that's because you don't even try. In fact, you're openly hostile towards them, and anybody can see it.